Got it.
All right, so we are live, man. We on it, brother. So what's up? What's up? What's up? Of course, it's me, your boy Richie Rich, and my man Marquise, man. We back at it again. Another week, man. Shooting another awesome video like we always do, man. What's up with you, bro?
Hey, I'm good, man. Hanging in there. Another day, another day. Another day, man.
Glad we can join each other on a Friday night, you know what I mean, to talk about some good appliances.
Yep.
You know
You
what I
could
mean?
be anywhere, but we're here with y'all and each other. You know what I mean? We could be turning up right now, but we're going to turn up with y'all and get y'all this knowledge.
Exactly. All right, so for this particular appliance that we're going to talk about, is one of those appliances that you can like do without, right? When we're talking about an appliance that you like must have or you can't live without, this is not really one of them. It all depends on the individual. So when we're talking about appliance that you can't live without, name one.
Refrigerator.
Cool, a refrigerator. I'd probably go with a stove. Right?
Gotta eat.
So
Gotta eat.
you got your washing machine and then your dryer. You got your microwave up there too.
Microwave is pretty, it makes cooking a lot quicker.
A lot quicker.
Or at least warming up.
Yeah, so for this particular appliance, of course, you already know, if we already have not said it, we want to talk about dishwashers today. Focusing on different types of dishwashers. What are some of the benefits? So we're going to dive into dishwashers a little bit. And of course, at the end of each video, each and every video that we do, we give you like a handy tip that you can use to make sure that, you know what I mean, your dishwasher is either being used properly, just from what we've learned over the years and how to repair appliances, man. So we give you a couple tips here and there and all that types of stuff. So always remember, man, hit the like button. When you see the video, hit the like button, man. Share the content because we're giving you guys good information. So if you feel as though this information is pretty good, then we'd like you to share with other people so they can see it as well. All right. Always leave a comment. If you have any questions, again, hit us up on YouTube, hit us up in the email and in the comments. I know the last few weeks we haven't done a video. We've been getting some comments, just some feedback on the channel, just from different people. As always, each and every week, we thank you guys for your support and even the questions that you might have. We appreciate your feedback, and what we can do to improve the channel and everything else. So we happy about where it's going at, and we're just going to continue to keep working and grinding, man. And then, you know, everything else will speak for itself. You're putting out good information, so people will show their appreciation by leaving a comment and telling you how they really appreciate the video. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. Don't forget, like the channel, subscribe, hit the buttons. You see what I'm saying? So go ahead and do that joint. So let me shift my screen real quick, man. So we can dive into what we got here. So one of the things that we can focus on, like we discussed today, we're going to talk about some dishwashers, man, because we understand the importance of really washing dishes, right? Some of us was the dishwasher back in the day, right? Now we got a machine that automatically does everything. All right, so it says, what are the types of dishwashers? So a couple joints that you can look at. You got portable dishwashers, right? We can discuss that a little bit. Built-in dishwashers, we're going to discuss that as well. Then, of course, you got your panel-ready dishwashers. If you want to replace the panel that match the cabinetry inside the kitchen, in your home, stuff like that, you have some awesome finishes there. All right, so the first one they're going to talk about, man, is built-in or under the counter. All right, it says built-in.
Quick question.
What you got?
Question, Brother Rich. I think we missed one. They may not discuss it because it's not as popular, but they also got the drawer dishwashers. You know, the notorious Bishop Big,
That's built in. That's considered built in.
Oh, that's still under the built. Okay, cool. All right, I'm with you. My bad.
Under the counter, yeah. All right, so built-in or under-the-counter, built-in or under-counter dishwashers are the most common type of dishwashers. We can agree with that. They typically come in two different sizes, just your standard 24-inch dishwasher and or a compact 18-inch wide variety. They come with unfinished sides because they typically slide in between cabinets underneath a countertop. All right, so when we're talking about the built-in dishwashers, man, I guess I'm just gonna read the benefits, and then after we read the benefits, we can chime in and say what we got to say. It says benefits take up no counter space, minimal floor space, usually have more features than portable models, such as specialized washing and drying settings, larger capacity than portable options, and sometimes even a third rack. And last, it says you can use kitchen sink and run your dishwasher at the same time because they do not require a faucet connection. All right, so when we're talking about built-in dishwashers, man, what are a couple of things that come to mind from your point of view when we're discussing about built-in dishwashers?
Really, they pretty much nailed all of the topics there. I mean, definitely saves you space.
Mm-hmm.
It pretty much all around to me is one of my more favorite ones, just for the simple fact that you know what to really expect for the most part. You don't have to deal with, well, I can't really, I was going to say too much plumbing stuff, you know, with the hose and all that, but it can happen if we need to repair them, which we'll talk about later. But it pretty much covered everything. I can't think of nothing else with it. What do you got?
All right, well, a couple of things that we think about when I see one is the brand, right? When I first approach, we go in customers' homes, they saying they're having certain issues with the appliance. The
Oh, good
brand
point.
makes a difference, right? So it allows me to dictate how I'm going to approach a dishwasher depending on the brand, because certain brands have certain issues that they have all the time. You have GE dishwashers, right? The new GE dishwashers that they have. One of the common issues that they have is that the display goes completely dead, right? So there's times you might have to replace the display board. That is a common issue. Another common issue with that particular model is that the door latch doesn't latch. You press the start button, and what happens from that, it just makes a musical noise or that lets you know that the door is not closed. Common issue for either the latch or the control boards to go bad on that particular unit. Depending on the brand of, you have a Samsung or LG. Let's go with the Samsung.
Oh,
They
you
have
know what?
they got. Let me
I
finish.
think
They got issues where the it might give you an error code because the water inlet sensor or the case on the side is faulty or defective. If it's clogged up or the water pressure is coming in, it's not really being detected by the control. So it all depends on what you look at when you go inside the appliance and doing whatever it is that you're doing. What you got?
Yeah, my bad. I think I misunderstood the question. I thought you meant just the benefits of it, versus you
You
mean.
think what
Oh yeah,
goes in
oh yeah,
when you think about whatever in
oh
general.
yeah. So yeah, you definitely hit a key component on that, and that's pretty much definitely brand specific issues. Uh, Definitely, my mind goes into a different zone as we approach Samsung versus a Whirlpool. Um, Actually, the Whirlpools, the KitchenAids, and all that, to me, are actually my more favorite ones to work on because they're repairing them are the motors and everything is more accessible in a quicker fashion versus like the Bosch or the Samsung LG, where it's a drip pan underneath of it. Um, so yeah, I would say definitely when you see the style of dishwasher, the make and the make of it. Also, how it's actually hooked up for drainage. If it has an air gap, or if it drains out straight out the house, or if it drains to the main drain and stuff like that. I start looking at the hookups if I have to pull it out. If it's on a copper line, if it's on a steel braided hose, those things do affect the way that we do the repair because sometimes you get that copper line off and for put on a water valve, and then you go to put it back together, and that thing just leaks. it never stops leaking. So, yeah, I definitely agree 1,000,000% with that. Also, another thing I look at is how it smells sometimes, how the dishes are put in there, how it's loaded. Because that'll let me know if they're having any water pressure issues,
Right.
um, water flow, motor issues. Is it a filter style? Is it one where you can take apart the whole motor and maintenance it? That's just a few things. I don't want to get too far ahead of our path, but yeah, just to answer that question, because I just thought you meant the benefits, because we just read the
And,
benefits.
like, I just was basically saying what's in general, what comes to mind when you know what I mean, you see one, you attack one. But again, I have several dishwashers right in front of us here. This is the GE model that I was referring to earlier that has
Right.
issues with the latch and has issues with um, the control panel going faulty, going dead. Pretty common issue for this particular model that you see here that we actually showing. So this is something that you can go in your local store, Home Depot, Lowe's, anything like that. You can check it out. It's all online. All right. So um, when you're talking about loading your dishes, all right, so we can talk about some of that dealing with built-in dishwashers because it's somewhat similar there. What is your approach with loading the dishwasher properly, right? What's the benefit of doing something like that, and how should a customer really load it?
Well, as always, refer to your manual. Um, that's where I start from that basis. Typically, loading plays a huge role because if you're not paying attention to how you load it, no matter if you just started using a dishwasher, you've been using it for 30, 40, 50 years. If it's not loaded properly, it does not allow it to properly clean your dishes, meaning that if the plates are aligned certain ways, it might block the spray arms, it may block the soap dish, it can block other dishes from being cleaned. It can actually cause silverware and other items inside the dishwasher to fall out the rack and get underneath of the heating element if your unit has the exposed heating element versus the one that's hidden in the motor. So loading plays a huge issue. A lot of times what you'll get, and I'm pretty sure you can vouch for this, Mr. Rich, they'll say that the tablets or the soap isn't dissolving in the water when they run it. And believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, if it's not something else, I'm gonna say 7 out of 10 times, there may be a plate or something blocking the soap dish. You might have really tall dish that's actually diverting the water from the soap dish. So something just as simple as that, you just ran it for an hour and a half, two. Well, nowadays they run for like 3 to 4, depending on what you select. But you just ran it that long and nothing got clean. It just got sprayed with hot water. That's pretty much it. So huge role. What's your take on that, Brother Rich?
You express it. I mean, loading the dishes is key. Like I said, we go to different homes every week, every day. And we understand when we're dealing with dishwashers, that plays a huge part. Like I said, if
Mhm.
you load dishes on top of each other, then there's no way for the water to get to it. So that dish is not going to be clean. Dishwashers are predicated on the water temperature, water pressure, the
Yeah.
detergent. So when you're looking at these different things to make sure that the water is hitting the dish that you have or you put inside of the dishwasher, they have to be loaded properly. We normally say they got to be space in between each dish, right, to make sure
Mhm.
that the water can hit it. If you want to use big pots and pans, you want to put those in the back, stuff like that. That helps with the spray arms circulating properly. Like you said, you don't want those to be blocked, right? You want to make sure that your filters are clean, little stuff like that, so that it doesn't affect the water pressure because the water pressure comes from the bottom, which where the motor is, and it has to travel all the way up through the machines, through 3 different spray arms, and wash the dishes properly. All right. So if there's any way that can get restricted, then of course that has an effect on the dishwasher. So just like basic stuff like that that needs to be done, like you said, refer to the owner's manual, check out Consumer Appliance Report because we go through all the owner's manual. When we're teaching
Yes,
you
sir.
about the review of the appliance and how they work, we go to the manufacturer to find out how to use them and how to use them properly. If you're doing that and you're still having issues, then of course you would contact them, but that's where you're going to have to start, right? Directly from the owner's manual. So,
or contact us. Rich's Appliance Repair, Tinker Appliance Repair. We out here. You know, we here for you.
definitely that. So that's, like I said, that's good insight, good information. Built-in dishwashers, like I said, we like them depending on the brand, depending on how far you got to go to repair them. Like I said, we already have an idea what we're looking at when we walk into a customer's home and we see the brand of the dishwasher. We understand the difficulty depending on which one and what you have to do to repair them. Some of them, like we stated, are easier than some as far as built in, but some is a little bit more difficult depending on the brand. So we've been stressing that a lot. And we also stress, I've heard you mention the, and this applies to all the dishwashers, right? The difference in the timing that it takes to wash dishes now, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was 90 minutes. A cycle was 90 minutes. If you had any cycles, at least 2 hours, couple of things that we'll focus on is what other settings or options have you selected? Have you selected the high temperature wash, right? If you had set sanitize. So when you add these different settings, of course, it prolongs the dishwasher to run for a longer period of time because you're increasing the water temperature above the average of 120, I would say, to 140 degrees. Anything higher than that is going to take some time, and that's where the long cycles come from. But now, in this modern day and how dishwashers being used, times are 3 hours, 3.5 hours to wash one dish. All right, so I just want you to go into that as a technician. You can start off from the difference between the two and how you felt at the time to now it being about 3 hours to run a dishwasher, whatever comes to mind after that.
I would say the older washers, I actually I think some of them actually probably even went as low as an hour for the older ones. You got 160-degree temperature cycle on the average dishwasher. They had the porcelain tubs and really huge motors. You got a ton of spray action. Not efficient at all, but efficient when it comes to your time. And yeah, it'll just go and clean them dishes. It got hot enough to bake a turkey in that thing there. You know, it can get hot there. Well, at least you can do a fish, I guess I would say. But the newer ones, I would have to say I get, and you can correct me on this, Brother Rich, if you haven't heard this, but I get a lot of customers always say, "Don't you think it's costing me more money because this thing is running even longer?" And the fact is, no, it's not costing you more money. It's using maybe a third to at least, it's using at least a half to a third of the amount of water that it would have used in the older models. The motors are a lot smaller. And another thing you'll realize is that the average dishwasher is really quiet nowadays. It's just, it's part of the makeup of them now. It's not all of the insulation and everything. It's just what they have done with the components. They're using these newer motors that's more magnetic. It's no windings hardly or anything, and it's not a bunch of wire and all of that. It's mostly just magnetic. Few of them, they got control boards for variable speed and all of this stuff. But overall, yeah, it sucks that it takes so long. But now you'll notice most units, they do have an hour cycle on.
Correct.
So the newer ones, to me, once again, prettier on the eyes. Definitely, I like the look. You know, the look is really nice, and they really. I've seen models. I don't know if you've seen one of these, Rich, but I've seen some. They've got like it was a Samsung out where you could put pictures and stuff on the panel, where it would show like video or whatever. Touch screen. I think that was a very high-end Kenmore in its time. But you don't see a lot of those too often because they're so expensive and some of them is a quick, they came out with it, it didn't sell, they discontinued,
Right.
things of that nature. But they can get kind of fancy. I mean, I've seen them with the water softening system inside of the dishwasher, where you add salt. I think Millie has that most of all, but it was a Kenmore that was floating around that had it, that was made by LG or Bosch or one of them. So a lot of times when you're looking at these newer ones, just make sure it's going to have cycles that you want to use, because you're paying for features. Once again, the same thing we say all the time, you're paying for features. So, if you want it to be super duper quiet where you don't hear anything, you're going to pay for that. Because quiet in the perspective relative to the old ones right about now is, if you run the ones that you like I'll give you an example. I have one, mine's is from 2010. It's a Frigidaire model. That thing, when we run it, it's pretty open downstairs. So when we run that machine, you can hear it in the living room. You can't help but hear it. If we had even a 2015 or 2019 model of that same machine, it would be a lot quieter.
Right.
Just because of the insulation around the motor at this point.
Right.
So if you want to be able to hear your TV and all that, you might want to get these much newer ones. If you don't care about it, then hey, give me that 1989 KitchenAid. It's going to do the job.
All right, so a couple of things. One, like you said, that you just discussed, the decimal determines the higher the decimal, the quieter it is. So that does factor in with the new dishwashers. Yes, they are a lot quieter than the older ones were, but you do have levels to what it is as far as the quietness that you would like. The more decimals, the quieter it is, and then you got to pay more for that. If you want your dishwasher to be extra quiet, then you're gonna have to pay extra for that. So that's one of the things that that I wanted to tackle a little bit and just throw that in there. And another one that you mentioned about the 1 hour cycle. All right, the 1 hour cycle that is being used now, as you have a quick wash and sometimes you have the 1 hour cycle. The 1 hour cycle is not for normal washing, right? So if you have a normal size dishwasher load, it's best to use your normal settings, right? You got to give it enough time, like we discussed, right? Does it cost you more? No, because you're using less energy and using less water. It's just that you have to compensate for something. You're not going to be able to restrict the water and the energy that it produces and then try to wash those dishes in 90 minutes. It's not gonna clean. It's not efficient. So you're gonna complain and saying the dishes are not clean. So the best way to do that, they said, okay, fine. If we take these things away, then we're just gonna make the cycles a lot longer. So that's what you got to compensate for you removing these different things that we weren't thinking about prior to that. Now we're thinking about it in this day and age, in this modern day, that you want more energy efficient. So you're going to have to pay for that, and you pay with your time. So, but like I said, it just takes some time. It takes some getting used to, especially as techs. When we went out, we were used to 90 minutes. Now, when you look at a cycle, you'd be like, man, 3 hours? I'm shocked. I used to be shocked. I used to be shocked sometimes when I see it. And I'm like, man, it takes that long. But then I'm like, oh yeah, they do got to compensate for this. Like over time, it clicks. You'll notice and say, hey, okay, it makes sense. But initially the shock was, it was really a shock. It was really shocking because back in the day when it run for that long, it's usually a problem with it. It's usually a problem with the water temperature. It's usually a problem with the heating element. It could be an issue with the control board that shorted and burned out, because it's not supposed to just normally run for 3 hours, but it does. It does. All right. So
I'm gonna tell you, man, I still will never forget my first encounter with one of them newer Whirlpools, and it had that digital readout, and I hit the button and it said, 3 hours and 20 some minutes, and I said, I definitely think this is
right.
because they said, did they really run this long? And then of course, I'm like, you know what? Let's look in the manual, because it was a much newer model, never seen it before, and they were new to it as well. They had just got the property. They were unaware of they just had all new appliances. So
Mhm.
they hit the button and I seen 3.5 hours. I'm like, yeah, this ain't right, because you hit other things and it just got worse. It didn't improve. And then of course you stumble across the 1 hour wash. But it every time, like, you hit normal, it say 3 hours, then you say I want high temp wash, heated dry, and temperature boost. You go up to 4 hours and 15 minutes just from those options added. So it's incredible. And some of them only use a fan to dry now. They don't even use an element. So
Right.
that's like a 4 hour dry cycle. So it's crazy.
Right.
It's really
So, all right. So we talked a lot about built-in dishwashers. Like this is the common one that most customers get. This we're going to talk about now. It is a portable dishwasher. All right. So you and I are familiar with the portable ones. We can discuss that a little bit. So let me just read a couple things here. It says great for people who live in small spaces like a city apartments, trailers, or RV. Portable dishwashers are best for when kitchen space is limited. They don't require their own plumbing connection. Instead, they rely on a faucet adapter that connects to the sink. There are different model sizes available, including the standard 24-inch and a more compact 18-inch, as well as a smaller countertop models. All right, so I'm not familiar with the countertop models, but I've
yeah.
heard those before. And it says
They're
benefits.
cool.
Since they don't need a permanent setup, you can take your portable dishwasher wherever you move. You can provide additional countertop space as many portable dishwashers have a wooden butcher block type surface. Since typically offers a lower price point than their built-in counterparts. All right, so we can discuss a little bit about the portable dishwashers. Um, so when we're looking at one of these, I remember initially the first time I saw one of these, I had to work on it because it probably wouldn't drain or wouldn't work or anything like that. I was surprised to see it, but like it stated in the reading that we just discussed, it's because of the limited amount of space. All right, and it's something that customers sometimes can move around. You can put stuff on top of it, because it has like I wouldn't say, I don't know how to describe it, but a wood protection over the
Yeah.
top
It has
of it.
like that Formica, that laminate countertop
Right,
type of
laminate
thing.
countertop look on top of it. You can probably see it right now in the video. And customers
Yeah.
normally have stuff on top of it. They roll it over to where the sink is, and they connect everything, and they use it there. So initially, it was foreign to me until I worked on it over the years and understand. But I haven't seen one in a long time, or haven't worked on one in a long time. But I'm still
Mhm.
familiar with it. And when I saw it, I was a little bit puzzled to understand that people have portable dishwashers. All right, so what are some things that come to mind when you're talking about your portable dishwashers, man? Whatever experience you had, good or bad, let us know.
Um, let's see. Portable dishwashers, I thought it was a pretty cool thing. It says it right in there, you can move it wherever,
Right.
so you can probably run it upstairs in your bathroom if you can adapt it in there. You can put it anywhere, out back. As long as you can get it on a faucet, you can run it anywhere. So that was a pretty cool factor. The main thing I think about with them is when I've seen them recently, they turn into mostly a storage. It's kind of a storage thing. People put dishes in there and just push them to the side because
Mhm.
they run out of cabinet space. Um, I really like the concept of them, especially growing up in the city. I grew up in Baltimore. Um, some of those kitchens, just the plumbing and stuff wasn't there. In order for you to get a dishwasher, you would have to redo the entire kitchen because that just wasn't your typical appliance in the house. You only really had you had a fridge, a stove, and a wash machine. Some people never even had dryers. Actually, the house I was in, we just had a wash machine. We still hung up clothes. Yeah, that's right. I was hanging up clothes. Try them cold underwear in the wintertime. They frozen. But back to the topic. Um, but yeah, you didn't have any space for it, so it will be depending on the locations that you working in. You started to see these portables plentifully. Like they would just be like the norm. And the one really cool part about them is that you don't have to pull them out of anything to work on it. You
Right.
can easily flip them on their back, their side, if you got to put a motor in, anything like that. easily accessible. You can see all around it 360 degrees. You don't have to wonder what's behind it if the electrical is too short. The cons to it is, once again, the space, because if you're limited on space, you still have to roll it and store it somewhere. And most people would just move it to the side, use it as additional counter space. What else? It was on wheels.
Right.
Of course, you could coast around. So if the wheels got all beat up or something, you had a problem, because it'll have like that dead wheel, like a shopping cart. You know, it's just, you got to drag it to get it where you want it. What else? The hose adapter. That was one common problem I ran into a lot with those, because that little connection would start to kind of wear out, because it kind of is a quick connect. So you just slide it on and it just grabs the faucet, and that little quick connect would start to get like worn out. So then you'll start to get water kind of shooting out around it, versus going into the machine and giving it the proper pressure. But that's easily resolved. You just replace the whole hose. It's all in one. It's the drain and the fill. It's all in one connection. But pretty cool though. Pretty cool. And I also wanted to tap on the countertop model. Those are out there. You don't see them that often, and they have a similar hookup like the portable. The only thing is, you're only going to probably wash like 2 or 3 plates and maybe like 2 cups in it. It's very small. You'll usually see that with people, condos and stuff. They just, they have the other dishwasher, but it may only be one person. Usually it's not something you would use and you have a Thanksgiving dinner with 20 people for the countertop model, but same concept. It just sits on the counter, has the same hookup. It's pretty nice stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if you're only washing 2 dishes.
Yeah, it's very small. And you ain't got to wait 3 hours.
Right. Right. One of the things that you mentioned that we can jump into a little bit, or I could put discuss a little bit, is the point that it's a lot more easier to work on because it's mobile. So you don't have to be worrying about the floors and it being built in and disconnecting water lines, doing these different things. That's one of the greatest benefit, in my opinion, is the accessibility that you have when you do work on it. Like you said, you can tilt it on the side, you can tilt it on the back. Of course, you want to be careful with anything else, but it's more easier for you to work on. If you got to put a motor in, it's not a difficult thing to do. So I really did like that, as far as the issues that they normally would have with that particular style of dishwasher. Like you said, outside of the faucet connector that needs to be replaced and something like that, it wasn't really a lot of major issues. It's pretty straightforward. Like I said, I haven't seen one in a few years, to be honest with you. I don't remember the last time I worked on one. But I understand when I was working on one, I understood that it shouldn't be something difficult. It might be something minor causing the unit not to work. Pretty straightforward. And of course, you can pull the plug out and connect it to your outlet and plug it in, because that's portable as well. So, I liked it. I liked it. Again, you don't see it that often, but I really do like it in comparison to the flexibility that you have. So, so it was pretty cool. I like it. All right, let me see what else we got on this joint that we can talk about a little bit. We talked about some of the benefits, but if you look at the price for this unit, $8.99, right? It's going to cost you some bread. Let me see if Lowe's have any portable dishwashers. I have built in. So I like to check out just different models, different styles of the dishwasher, so that we'll know, how, they're still $9.99.
I'm actually, we do understand at the times we're in right now that stuff is already expensive due to what's happening in the world. Heart goes out to everybody suffering through this, through any hardships or anything. But the portable, it has an outer casing around it, which is metal, and it has that little countertop piece. So to me, I wouldn't be surprised at these prices, because you got additional material versus when you just get the dishwasher that's got a little insulation around it, no sides, no, you know what I mean? Like, this got little coasters and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So it's like that. Now I could see 900 for that because you gotta add additional materials to make it look it's pleasing to the eyes. You know, you don't got insulation and all this stuff hanging out of it, wires. It's all encased. But that countertop over there look tough. Yeah, I ain't seen one of them. That Magic Step. Now that look like you can do probably 5 plates. Look at that. That's nice.
Yeah, you can do more than 5 plates on this one, but if you look at the price, that's $379. Like I said, I've never really worked on any one of those, but I'm sure it's probably somewhat similar to the portable one where you have access. You can just probably remove an access panel just to get to the motor. So you're looking at $379. You know, that's not bad. You got the Mueller right here. So depending on the model, you can put more. It says you can put dishwasher with 6 plate settings. So you can put that on there, 6 plate settings. Again, if it's just you don't have a lot of dishes, this probably would benefit you.
That's right? A stainless steel tub? That's tough. Oh no, it says plastic tub. It looked like the door is stainless though.
Yeah, it looks like. I guess it's the reflection from it. But
yeah,
different ones, different models. SPT, not really familiar with that particular brand. But Magic Chef has been around for a while. They also had, I'm not gonna keep going real fast or whatever, but they had like GE model, right? So this is the GE model, portable one.
A little 18-inch.
Different Whirlpool portable ones. RCA, I thought they only made TVs, but they make dishwashers as well.
RCA, now that's interesting. Gotta get on that, just be a little nosy about them, because if they making dishwashers, that means they're gonna be making other stuff too.
Right. All right, so we can also jump into dishwashers with an integrated panel ready dishwashers. All right, so you and I both worked on a couple of these integratable ones. They do look nice because, again, according to the way that your cabinetry is looking, and it matches and blends in with the cabinetry, especially if it's installed correctly where it's flush with the cabinetry and you can't really tell it's a dishwasher. I really, really like that look. But at the same time, man, it makes the door extremely heavy.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. It creates issues. So we can dive into a little bit of that after I finish reading this joint. Another built-in style, these types of dishwashers let you add a more personalized look to your kitchen. Panel-ready dishwashers are compatible with customized exteriors that you can match to cabinetry for more streamlined look than your traditional dishwashers. They do require plumbing installation, so they need a permanent space within your kitchen. Benefits: you can create a cohesive look with the existing cabinetry. That's what we talked about before. Can soften up your space because they don't have the more industrial look of typical dishwashers. It says typically offer similar features as other built-in dishwashers, so you can find one that fits your family's needs. All right, so that's where we are. Like we talk about the cabinetry. Anything else you can think about when you're just dealing with this type of dishwasher? Have you been having a lot of issues with it? And if so, how did you repair it? How did you fix it? We can go into that a little bit.
Custom panels pretty much are like the very first dishwashers we looked at. Just as we know, this is more when you're getting into the cosmetics. You just want to have that look. You know, people, once again, we said we always go visual. We want it to be easy on the eyes. The main common problem when I run across these typically is probably going to be a hinge issue. Like you said, Brother Rich, the weight of the door is increased. Not, I would say, compared to the average dishwasher door without us. If you feel it without a spring, they typically feel heavy anyway. Which part? You frozen?
Well, I don't know if it's me or maybe it's him, but we're gonna rock off still anyway until he gets back. Either way, it probably was mine. Can you hear me?
Yep, there you go.
All right, go ahead. You're good. What you were saying?
Like you were saying, you know, the custom, it's all about the look. The doors are typically heavy for, you know, the average dishwasher. If it's without the springs, it feels kind of heavy, but with that additional panel on there, it is pretty heavy. So for spring pops, it actually creates a little more wear and tear on the springs, on the hinge, latch issues because when it goes to close, sometimes something is a little off as far as when you align up the screws with the panel, and it just makes it want to flex when you're closing it. But on the average, the biggest thing I don't like about working on these is when you got to put the panel on and off and it has not been installed correctly. That sucks because you won't be able to close the door properly, or it'll be really loose. So now, you go to open it, the whole panel wants to peel apart from the front of the door, So the key component, which you mentioned, Brother Rich, is that it's installed properly, not that old crazy glue and stuff like that. They have a certain way that is bolted to another panel that actually slides onto the dishwasher inner door. So if they did some old janky stuff to, connect it, you're gonna have to do some MacGyver stuff to get it back on there. Otherwise, that's it though. They really don't give me too many troubles.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you said it all really. It's just a matter of a door thing because it's so heavy. So the links, the hinges, the springs gotta be able to withstand the weight of having that cabinetry on the front panel. And like you said, your door latches, it wears down on the dishwasher as well. So even sometimes the screws might come out or might be missing from the cabinetry or wear out. So it's more likely just hinges, doors, and springs that it normally wears down on. And you mentioned it enough. I mean, I think you said it pretty well, to be honest with you, as far as some of the issues that that you deal with when you deal with that. Like I said, it looks nice. Really like it. Really. We talked about the 18-inch and the 24-inch dishwasher, the different sizes. We don't really have to go too much into that because we've already discussed it and we've read it, so we can actually move on from there. But you do want to know the sizes of the dishwasher that you're getting. All right, especially if you have an older one and you're replacing it and getting a new one, you want to make sure that your dishwasher is measured, you have the right dimensions. You can go online if you don't have your owner's manual. A lot of the times the owner's manual go in depth with the dimensions, so you can look at that. You can search for the owner's manual online, download it, look it up, and it shows you the dimensions as well. Or you can contact the manufacturer. They would know more about their product than most people or most techs or most companies. So if you have any questions, just give them a call and they'll probably just give you the dimensions, no matter how old it is. They should somewhat have some type of information on the dimensions of the appliance.
Is that a copper tone or a brownish? That's an interesting color.
Right. So it has the panel ready compact dishwasher with stainless steel tub. So it comes with the bottom panel and the front panel, right? Both of those are aligned. So that's a stack. Then you have a small space compact dishwasher with stainless steel tub. That's also $9.99, which is a stack. All right. All right. So newer dishwashers these days is coming up with the new third rack dishwashers. All right. So I'm hoping I'll be able to look into this, and this helps me somewhat so I can see some of the pictures in the third row. That it might have. Right. So you have the third rack all the way up top. You can see that. For this Whirlpool model, you're looking at $879 for this particular unit. Third rack is somewhat getting pretty common in all the dishwashers now to create more space, to get rid of the soap dispenser, because that soap dispenser, I'm sorry, not the soap dispenser, the utility is basket, silverware basket. It was taking away from the space in the lower rack. Some of the dishwashers will probably hang it on the door, right, to give you that space rather than you putting it inside the basket. So now they added a third row where you can just lay the utensils flat and you'll be able to wash your dishes that way. So what are some of your ideas and thoughts about the new style of silverware basket?
I actually like it, and believe it or not, in my encounters with seeing it, because it was out a long time ago on certain high-end models,
Okay.
um, but now it's becoming more of the norm, and some people never use it, and I'm really surprised. I'm like, it creates a perfect layout, so you can just sit them and and line everything up versus having them in the basket over top of each other. So in this one, they're actually separated like like that, but on a I guess say horizontally versus vertical.
Right.
Um, it's really cool. I haven't had any complaints thus far because there's still the other ones we looked at earlier, the more standard large capacity tall tub is what you're going to see on the average right now. But that third row, I think it's a brilliant idea. Just to keep for one, it'll probably keep you from blocking any spray-ons with like large spatulas or anything like that. It gives you the flexibility to lay everything flat, like you mentioned there, Rich. Um, and it's a space saver because in a lot of the machines, it takes away. You got a basket that's probably about a foot and a half long, if not maybe 2 feet long, and it could be dishes, plates and stuff over there instead of just a rack. So I like the space saving idea. I like that it opens up that area so you have less of a chance of the spray on hitting something in that region.
Right.
Um, Heck, who knows? The next machine we get might be like one of these, really.
Right. All
What
right.
about
Another thing
that?
that we can that just came to mind as I was just listening to you talk about the silverware basket. Um, remember the traditional silverware baskets, it can the way that you load the silverware, it creates holes in it. So what
Mm,
this does, it prevents it from getting damaged and having the holes inside of the dishwasher because you're laying them flat rather than flipping your knives and your forks or
oh
whatever
yeah,
downward
good.
into the silverware basket and
Yeah.
creating a hole, and then eventually over the year you might need one. All right, so it's not, and that's
Hmm.
another benefit that I've noticed. Just was listening to you talking. I was like, oh, I could actually mention that. So the silverware basket, we really like that. Like I said, you talk about space, you talk about how it helps the prevent you from replacing the older basket because it's not necessary anymore because you're not going to put holes in it like that.
Hmm.
And I don't really
Yeah.
have too many issues with it, and it's real easy to just pull it out and just take it out. And that's one of the
Hmm.
things I like about it. The transition is real smooth, not a lot of restrictions, and it's not bulky, it's not heavy, it's not hard to take out, and the tabs on it that you got to take out is easy to just remove it and just lift it out on most of them. So I like it. I think the new silverware basket is pretty cool. I really like that joint, man. So
All right. And you know what, Rich? You hit on another point, putting the holes in the baskets.
correct.
I was going to save it for a tip at the end, but I just give y'all this one. Being mindful of which way the knives and the forks go in there, because when you put them in with the blades facing down, well, the fork's going to be as bad, but it could still, kind of stick the prong, so it's really long. But either way, knives, you actually start cutting that plastic, and guess where the plastic of the basket goes? Down in your motor. So you might go from needing a new basket to also needing a new motor because now you've broken up your basket and those pieces go down into your motor or your drain pump and it's shot, your wash motor or your drain pump. So keep that in mind.
Good point. See, that's why we
Mhm.
that's why we do these channels, man. Don't forget to subscribe, man. Interact with the video. If you have any technical questions about repairs, we're glad to help you as well because we service technicians. Going on almost 20 years a piece, brother. So
Yeah, can you
we get it
believe
in. Yeah, I can't believe it either. But we
it?
get it in, man. All right,
Yeah,
so we can dive into a little bit dishwasher options by location of controls. All
but look at
right.
that number. That does mean 3 hours and 26 minutes.
Right, and that's
That
a
is not an
sensing
error
cycle.
code.
Right. That's a sensing cycle. It doesn't mean it's gonna run for 3 hours, but it all depends on the sensors. So you
Yeah,
want
it'll
to get
start thinking.
all right. So we got the front control dishwashers are like the name suggests, dishwashers that have their control panels facing frontward. so that you can see all the buttons and screen at first glance. They typically have a recessed or integrated pocket handle below the controls of the dishwasher, as opposed to a front-facing handle. It says cycle indicator benefits. Screen or light is usually visible, so you don't have to open the dishwasher to see how much time you have left. Can be
Mhm.
more budget friendly than the top control dishwashers, and buttons are more accessible. All right. So again, when we talk about these panels, we talk about some of the benefits. We can discuss the benefits. Cycle indicator screen on lights is usually visible, so you don't have to open the dishwasher to see how much time you have left. All right. What's your idea on that as a benefit?
That's really nice because some people are very, they want to know what's happening. So they got to open and look and make sure it's running. Um, Also, everything's right there on the visual. So um, you don't have to, well,
Door.
yeah, it's a plus and a minus. Because can we lean into the negative and the benefit, or like kind of
Sure.
bind it together? Because the negatives to me is that if you have little kids that like to press buttons, they're gonna have fun with this thing.
Right.
And the benefit is that you will see that they probably didn't press something because it'll probably be something that you didn't select. So it gives you just that more, you're more certain of what's happening with it versus if there was a failure anytime throughout it, um, you wouldn't know it until you with the hidden until you actually pull it out. Me personally, I like that flush look. I think if I were to replace mine, I would go with the hidden control. Also, we have a little one, so I that keeps the controls away from them.
Mhm.
Um, but the front one is pretty cool. I think that on the average, that's what we have right now, and it's just the look, you know. It's a look that I probably would. I like the hidden buttons better. I just like that flush overall. But it's pretty pretty simple, especially if you're a person who like to know the status of everything that's happening with the dishwasher. That'll tell you right there.
All right. I mean, okay. So again, like I said, just all about a preference. What is it that
Yeah.
you like? Of course, we talked about you talk about it's being hidden. On the front ones that like we're looking at right now, you always remember to lock the control panel. You can actually hold, I think this right here says sanitize rinse for about 3 to 5 seconds, and that will lock your control. That will help with the issue if you having your kids pressing on the buttons and stuff like that. That will help that situation. But the hidden controls, like you said, it's definitely on top. You can still see the estimated time and all that, but you're gonna have to probably either lower your head to look directly in between the space between the cabinet and the dishwasher, or you're gonna have to open the door. All right, so that's just one of the things there, and that's probably why it discusses as you get more budget friendly than top control dishwashers. All right, so the more elegant it is, um, like you said, depending on where the control is positions. We talked about the noise earlier, that the more quiet it is, the more you're going to spend for stuff like that. Just like the panel in the front or being hidden, you're going to spend more for that because of what it takes for it to be hidden. All right. That is a almost like a luxury feature. Right. So you're going to pay a lot more for the controls that's hidden than the one that you see, which is at the front. So
You know what? And I thought of another thing there, brother Rich, the venting. The Some of these newer ones you're coming, they got ventless dishwashers now, and they got the ones with the vent. Now the way that they vent now typically is through the bottom of the dishwasher front panel or through the side.
okay,
Um, the older, more traditional style was it was a vent right there up in that left hand corner if you're facing it, and that would damage the keypad because it would cause condensation in there. So now they've maneuvered it to a different location on the machine. So that's something to take into consideration when it's venting, because you might get a lot of sweat depending on where it vents to and how the temperature is in the room and stuff, you'll start to get like water on the floor, and it's not leaking, it's just condensation. So you want to give it some space to breathe. Keep that in mind, and that can damage the keypad if it starts to sweat inside of that panel. So
Okay.
it's a little something, you know.
Some buttons are more accessible. That's really obvious. We discussed that already. It's right there in the front, so you can't really miss it. They do have different prices depending on where you are, depending on the brand. Of course, we're on the Whirlpool website. We can do dishwashers, front panel. Again, when you're dealing with these different sites, you can filter a lot of the stuff out by brand. You can filter it by cost, and it helps you know exactly how much it's going to cost you. All right, so we talked about the custom front panels, right? You can see it's 11, 12.99 depending on the series. But then you got the front control here, 503, which is a base model dishwasher. All right, so if you look, you got
Like
LG
that,
different ones for LGs, right? I'm zooming in a little bit so you can see that. 848, 698. You see what I'm saying? You got this KitchenAid right here, 1149. That's what I'm saying. Like, dishwashers are high, bro. They are high. They getting up there in price now, depending on what it is that you want.
And you know what, Rich? I'm looking at this panel, right? It says with the custom panel. Yeah, it says with the custom panel, right? It says customer provides panel handle. Okay, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, if I go with this custom panel right here, that means I gotta get my whole kitchen with that panel, and I don't want that. I thought they just was selling it just like that look, but it looks like you can put any panel you
Since I never thought about it that way until you mentioned. That's a good way for you to point it out for you to see that.
Yeah, because it says panel ready, but then it has that on it as if you can just get what they have. So I guess that's when you start leaning towards the custom kitchen, and it is Home Depot advertising. So they're like, hey, while you at it, you get a dishwasher, get a new kitchen.
Hey, you never know. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, don't know until you ask, right?
Yep. All right, so we got top control panels. We discussed that a little bit. Here it is right here. All right.
Yeah.
This is going to cost you a little bit more. It says top control dishwasher designed with control panels hidden away on top of the dishwasher door. The control buttons are not visible when the dishwasher door is closed for a minimum sleek look. Benefits: some offer handles that also double as towel racks. I've seen that before. Gives a more seamless and integrated look to your kitchen. Panel rental models are available in this style. All right, so that's basically how it looks, which is the top control panels or the hidden panels.
Yeah, I like them. I like them, and some of them they actually have an indicator light that shoots onto the floor, so you don't have to really try to open it and see what stage it's in and all of that. Or they might have little indicator lights on the front, like 3 lights, one indicate wash, one indicate drying, one indicating complete. Same thing with the little indicator that shoots onto the floor. It'll be red when it's drying. It'll be green when it's washing, or green when it's complete, or blue when it's washing. So they pretty cool. I'm a big fan of the hidden control. Once again, these were an issue with the venting, the older models, because that vent was actually at the very top where the keypad was on some models. So you would get the steam out of the vent, and then that water would pool under the counter and then drip back onto that panel, ultimately getting into there. So some of them you wouldn't see them like flush with the cabinetry. It would actually stick out a little bit, so it allows it to breathe. But overall, I think they've gotten way past that problem now, just because of the layout. I really like that indoor vent. Samsung, they have like fans and everything in there that pushes all that steam from out the bottom of the door. KitchenAid, Whirlpool, all of them, they're all moving in that same fashion, because it was great job security for us, but as a consumer, you might be a little PO that you spent $1,200 for this machine, and now you got to get a a $300-400 keypad, because I believe the keypads were more than the control boards on half of these models.
Mm-hmm.
They were really expensive because of the technology in them. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, I agree. They could be pretty expensive when you're dealing with
Yeah.
them. Look at this one, fingerprint resistance, 1179. Again, you're spending this type of money, man.
Fingerprint resistant.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
tell them don't touch it. You paying for that fingerprint resistant.
Oh, yeah. That's why I said
That's
79. What do you think it's gonna cost? It's gonna cost you some bread.
you know what you do with it? You put some WD-40 on that. That way they just slide. They gonna get an oil all on them. They get tired of touching. So don't listen to me on that one. That's a joke. It's not a good joke, but it's
All right, so we talked about the third rack. We're gonna discuss a little bit about the stainless steel tubs. All right,
oh
the
yeah.
benefit of the stainless steel tub, in your opinion, as a technician? What are some advice that you can give to the people that's watching?
Well, one of my favoriteest things in the whole wide world about that stainless steel tub is that you hardly ever get a leak out of the tub, which means you don't have to do a tub replacement on them. The plastic tubs, if you get a fork under that heat element or something like that, and that element's going through a drive, and that fork is absorbing that heat, guess where it's going to transfer it to? The base of that plastic tub. Stainless, you ain't got to worry about that. Now, I do recommend with the stainless models that you be mindful of um, like what's getting on the door and sitting and settling, because it'll kind of get that chameleon look, and people get upset and say it's stainless. Why is it staining? Well, you taking something, you're putting chemicals in it, and then you're putting heat towards it, so it will discolor a little bit. So don't get your hopes up. But I do think it's not going to keep that super shiny look all over it. There might be some little discoloring in the unit, so it's not a big deal. I believe that it also holds heat a lot better. So the drying cycle with them is, to me, just immaculate. That thing, you can touch the outside of it and feel that heat just it's holding it. It's holding it in there like a real nice coat, What's the other thing? That's really it. I like the drying factor and the not having to replace the tub factor. Those are my hands down my favorite. Once again, if I was to purchase a dishwasher, unless I was getting a really crazy deal on a plastic tub, I'm riding straight with the stainless.
Cool. Good points. Really, really good points about the stainless steel tubs. Like you said, stainless steel, durable material. We're talking about that. Retains
Yeah.
heat better. So may be more efficient in cleaning and drying dishes. Runs a quieter wash cycle than standard plastic tub dishwashers. All right, so a lot of the stuff you've already mentioned as far as the benefit, the drying is really impactful, and as far as the durability as well. That's one of the things that we really, really like on here as well. Your dishwasher options that we can mention: high temperature wash, heated dry, sanitize, steam. So it all depends on the model. You have so many different features and functions. You have smart appliances that deals with Wi-Fi connect. You have cycles, dishwashers that you can download additional cycles onto your dishwasher. It says download as one of the cycles. We can download stuff online onto the dishwasher. It's amazing, so many things that you can actually do, and the features that they're adding to a lot of these appliances. Remote start, you can get notification. You got apps that you connect to with the dishwasher that communicates with the manufacturer if you call them and you're having an issue. Like LG has a ThinQ app, makes a certain noise over the phone. They can say, hey, this issue is coming up with the motor. This is what the motor is doing. This is what the dishwasher is saying, without even the technician coming out to evaluate the issue from time to time. So some of the options are amazing, bro.
Yeah.
You have dishwashers with light in it. You press the button to turn the light on. You know what I mean? So you have those features and stuff in there as well. It's amazing. So I don't know if there's anything I've missed that you want to discuss about the features, stuff like that.
No, You pretty much nailed it. You know, you want more features, you pay for them. It really amazed me to see dishwashers with lights inside of them. That's more like when you get real high end, like Monogram, GE, those Electrolux Icon styles and all that. They really go above and beyond. You're gonna drop some money on it, but you're gonna be like, now this is luxury. You know, it's like if you got a car that you got auto start and heated seats and all that, versus you got to still do the wind down with your hand, and you got to manually turn ignition, no push button. So it's like the really high end creme de la creme of dishwashers when you start getting in that league with all that. I mean, the list can go on and on as far as like you mentioned, Brother Rich, the remote start where you can have the dishwasher started and you're driving home and you logged into your Wi-Fi at the house somehow, however it's linked up, and you got the dishwasher running, dishes clean by the time you get home. All of that pretty cool stuff. So yeah, it is what it is when it comes to the features. If you want to go big, you're going to spend big. If you want to keep it simple, you're going to be, in the lower cost range, $400 or $500. And and that does affect also how well you can load them and stuff. Because some of those racks, they're really, the layout actually improves with the cost of the unit, because it looks like it gives you more options to load versus some of the more cheaper, like standard. You can only put the dish basket on one side. You can't put it on the front or on the door and all. It limits your space. Very simplistic.
Okay.
So otherwise, though, it's you if my theory, and it never changes, is if you're going to use it, then pay for it. If you're not, then I don't want it. It plays no role in the benefit for me. So why buy it?
All right. All right, so we're actually about to wrap up with the dishwashers, man. Like we stated before, we always try to give everyone a little tip that we can leave you with to help you with the appliance that we're discussing. So I can jump off on this one. When you're talking about a dishwasher, no matter the brand, the make, we always instruct our customers to rinse the dishes off before you put them in there. I know that's shocking for people to hear or understand it. What's the purpose of buying a dishwasher if you got to wash the dishes before you put them in there? You're not actually washing the dishes. You're basically just rinsing them off. You're making it easier for the dishwasher to clean it. Depending on if the dish has been sitting around for a while, sometimes it's difficult for the dishwasher to get it off because it's just circulating different spray arms with hot water for majority of the time that it's being used. That's it. It's not like somebody's hand is reaching in and scrubbing the dishes out for you. It's just water touching it. So if the water doesn't get to it, doesn't touch it because it's clogged up, the water pressure is low, that does have an effect on the performance of the dishwasher. All right. What are some of the negatives from you just dumping stuff inside the dishwasher? Again, it doesn't wash properly. Another thing, it smells, becomes like a trash can, smell like a garbage disposal, smell like a sink, smell like trash. All right.
Yeah.
So you got to look at that as well. And you're also, your dishes are not really being clean because you're circulating a lot of the food particles from the last time you use the dishwasher. It's building up inside of it. So that has an effect on the performance of the dishwasher. You want to consider that no matter what the brand is and no matter who tells you outside of the manufacturer. I know you see these awesome commercials from time to time. You go to the store, the salesperson tell you, oh yeah, you can put whatever you want in there. It doesn't make logical sense. It does not make mechanical sense. And it doesn't make sense because your outcome is going to be an outcome that you don't want, because now you're going to have to find somebody to fix it because your motor is jammed. Your water pressure is low. It's not cleaning properly. So that's when you call Marquise, you call myself, we come out and fix it. So just make sure you rinse your dishes off before you put them in there. Any tip that you might got, bro?
You actually took the really good one, because I was
That's why I went first.
jerk.
Yeah, I'll take
Uh,
it.
yeah, man, that's such a valid point. That you see these commercials with quantum clean and all this stuff. Well, debris has to go somewhere, and it's going to go all throughout your machine. But on another note, rinse agent. A lot of these newer units, they, you get these packets and they say it's got rinse agent in it. Now, it's becoming more standard, I guess, because they're all starting to use roughly around the same small amount of water, so they're probably getting better. But you make sure you put your rinse aid in there. Go buy you some jet dry and stuff if you're having drying issues, because it makes a huge difference in spotting and stuff. Even though your packet on your detergent says, "Oh, it has rinse aid," it may not be enough to actually give it the effect that it needs to. And so I believe in some of them.
Talking about in the tablets that has rinse aid already in it. You gotta
Yeah,
add rinse aid. That's not enough. You gotta add rinse aid as well.
yeah, you'll actually see that in the manual sometime where it'll say even if your detergent has rinse aid, still put in dispenser. So that's a big deal. And also use cleaner. It's a dishwasher cleaner that they offer out here. A fresh and dishwasher magic. Hey, y'all, and we endorsing y'all right now, so y'all need to give us a little bit of that check. Yeah. But they do work. I use them. Yeah, let them know we need some of that check money right there. But yeah, they actually do work. I love telling this story. One time, this is yeah, I'm a tech, but that doesn't mean that I do everything correct, right? I we left on a small vacation and came back, and it seemed like maybe from when we was prepping and leaving, some water backflowed into the dishwasher and it sat for like a week. So when we came back home, it was stanking. And I did fix the hose after that, brother Rich. Before you say, "Hey, buddy, you ain't lift the hose," I did lift it that day. Not that I wanted to because I was still relaxing. But anyway, I wish my wife could have heard that. So I said it loud. I was relaxing. But anyway, so it left this horrible, and it's a plastic tub. So you can imagine maybe after day 2 or 3, we were gone for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So maybe day 2 or 3 with the old, old food and stuff that might have been down in there, debris or whatever, it got stagnant. It got very stagnant. So I came home, fixed the hose, threw 2 of those tablets in there, ran it. It was like brand new. That's all I can say. And that was just a small, yeah, it was fresh. So if you have something that where you're having issues with odor and stuff, you may have to run it a few times. That was the first time we encountered it, and I test drove the tablets right then and there, and it just broke it all down and got rid of whatever it was. So I say all that to say that your detergent is made to help remove the debris off the dishes, not to clean your dishwasher. Remember that. Just like detergent in your washing machine is made to clean the clothes, it's not made to clean your washer. So you will get these buildups inside of the dishwasher, which will be the food that you didn't rinse because you listened to that quantum commercial, the debris, that thick spaghetti sauce or whatever, ketchup, all that. And it's just going into your machine, and it settles and it gets worked through all of those connections that's hooked up to that wash motor. So wherever that wash motor is sending that water, that's where all that old food is going, and it'll sit there and it'll rot. So you'll know. That's why earlier in the segment I was speaking about the smell, because if you go into a dishwasher and it smells bad, that's usually an issue with bacteria. But that's a sign. You get an infection or something, it stinks. It doesn't smell good. So that's just all I got for that. Make sure you disinfect it.
Good, you're good.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything as far as tips, just to make sure. Rinsing your dish off where you put them in there. You want to make sure you use rinse aid to help dry the dishes. And the last one that you mentioned was what again?
The cleaner. Make sure you clean your dishwasher.
Dishwasher cleaners. You want to make sure you do that as well. So
Fresh and dishwasher magic. We want that check, son.
stop mentioning them because they ain't gonna give it to you. Until they do, we ain't gonna mention it. So you just use dishwasher cleaners. All right. So, but yeah, other than that, brother, I think we said Basically everything that we can say about a dishwasher, man. Again, if you have any questions, hit us up, comment on the video, hit like, let us know what's up. What can we do to help you guys to make your life easier when dealing with appliances or anything like that? We'll give you our suggestion. Of course, I'm your boy Richie Rich at Consumer Appliance Report, man. You help me, I help you. We both help each other. Till next time, I'm out of here. I don't know about Marquise. I know I'm out. Peace. What you got, bro?
That's Marquise Repair Extraordinaire, and I'm out of here like last year. Y'all be cool. Call us. Call us, dang it. We need that.